Describe wellness in one word, phrase, or mantra.
Wellness for me, authenticity. Doing whatever you can to find the easiest path towards authenticity.
Hey Queer Kittens, we are here with an episode on springtime energy cleansing for your inner home and your physical home. We will discuss some of the history and traditions around the season of spring and how you can bring the same energy into your own life. We go over the ways to cleanse your body, your mind, and your home so that you're ready for this rejuvenating spring season.
We'll also share some benefits of spring cleaning, like getting rid of clutter and dust.
And we're going to have my partner, our own associate producer, Raphaella Landestoy, with us today.
We hope this podcast brings you joy, where you'll learn, laugh, heal, and grow.
Corey, I know how much you love dad jokes. Someone throw this one at you. In spirit of spring, what is invisible and smells like carrots?
Jesus.
Bunny farts.
I thought it was Jesus. Bunny farts. That's cute.
Isn't it?
Now I want a little bunny. Well,
I got a bunny connect.
Wait, can you hear them? Yeah, can you hear them fart because they don't have butt cheeks?
Oh, that's a good point. Now I'm imagining little bunny butts.
Yeah, they only have it with their fur. You like shave it down. Anyway.
I didn't know that. That's cute.
You can like turn it into it, you know? They like how they make dogs puffy, like little bubbles. You could just. Wow, welcome to spring.
Yes.
I love spring. It's my birthday season, and it always just reminds me of a full rotation and rejuvenating energies.
When's your birthday?
Mine's in May 15th, later in spring, but I always thought it was a summer baby because it was always so hot in Texas, but it's actually spring, and being in California, getting to enjoy the weather and all the foliage, the flowers and things, it's like super nice.
Aside from the allergies, so I always
look forward
it's
to
beautiful.
Spring. That's true. Allergies are about to be in full swing soon. I got my Claritin the other day, actually.
Oh, yeah. I'm Zyrtec'd up, too.
Yeah, and they're not even paid sponsors, unfortunately.
Yeah, right? Get on it, Zyrtec. Claritin.
Yeah, Claritin.
Yeah, me and my partner, we cleaned our whole place because we were just sneezing like crazy. And we just like cleaned the whole place, like moved all the furniture and just got all the dust and we're sneezing a lot less.
Yeah, you stir it all up and then it's a little better. It's how I actually imagine cleaning spaces is you have to make a big mess first and then you can like put it all away and organize it. So it's kind of like the same with dust.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
I make a huge mess before I make it.
Yeah, and you kind of got to feel comfortable with that. Like as backwards as it seems, like to like, oh, I'm going to clean this room up, and then like 2 hours in, it's just like torn apart. It's like a part of the process.
Definitely. Oh.
Yeah.
You can look at that in many ways. You spoke deeper than you even realized.
So, do you have any like practices, traditions around springtime? I know you're into energy.
I have like physical rituals or practices, and I have spiritual ones as well. I think the physical ones is just like clean out the place to where I'm like just getting rid of things because I feel like I accumulate things quickly. You know, between my divorced parents, each being like, hey, I've got this for you. I think it'd be great at your place, and me not being able to say no. I'm like, okay, thanks. Yeah, just decluttering my place. Like, I feel like it not only like does it declutter like my physical space, it does something to my mind. Like, I just feel like I could think clearer when everything is decluttered around me.
Absolutely. My neighbors had a yard sale yesterday. So I like threw all my stuff out there and like whatever didn't sell, I like left that on the street because I'm like, please somebody just pick this stuff up. It cannot come back inside.
Yeah.
There's no way. I need to get a little better, to be honest, about like my routines, and like springtime is really special, and I want to figure out some like spiritual routines to like get back in to the swing of things. So I'm excited to have Rafi coming on and hearing y'all talk about your spiritual awakenings in this springtime.
I feel like spring cleaning can also just bring you closer to yourself and just kind of understanding yourself and accepting yourself, because like you're getting rid and detaching things that sometimes kind of like are determining who you are or who you're supposed to be. And when you're getting rid of these things, I feel like you make more room for who you actually are.
That tracks. I was thinking about, actually wrote this down because I was thinking about cleaning out closets, and I have a hard time like getting rid of clothes because I'm like, oh, but I really liked it, or I like it, but I'm never gonna wear it, but I might need it, and so then I like hold on to it, but I never let it cycle through. Like then it's just stagnant there. Like it's like all these clothes that I really like, but I'll never wear, but now I don't have room for anything new, so I'm stuck with things that I'm holding on to, and I'd much rather have my closet have a full life cycle annually than like as I think I change out clothes probably like never. I have shirts from like 12 years ago. I should get rid of things.
Yeah, I feel that. I totally feel that. That was one thing that me and Rafi, that we did. We like put out our clothes all on the bed. Like Maria Kondo shows you, like put all your clothes on the bed and see how much you have, and you'll have a better idea of like, okay, I want to make this pile this size instead of.
Wow. I never really thought about it being put like laid out in like one spot.
It's really a trip.
That's great.
Talk about making a big mess before making it clean. You'll see that mountain of clothing, and you'll be pretty shocked.
Oh yeah. To think I moved to Oakland with just a duffel bag, and now I have like a closet full of shit.
Look at you.
That's crazy.
It could be as simple as my hair getting too long and getting a haircut, and then how sexy I feel after a haircut. It's like, I'm the same person. I just got my hair cut, but I feel so sexy because I cleaned up my head.
Yeah. Like cleaning up in all of the ways. Even like if I shave my like the sides or like clean up my neck, like it feels better. Like I'm like, oh dang, ping ping. Even though I'm growing my hair out, like even just by trimming or like taking care, it's like taking care of something, right? So if it's something that feels good to take care of, to do that feels revitalizing.
It's like you give plants haircuts so that they feel you can see they just grow so much better. We're plants. But I don't want to steal too much of what we might be talking about today.
Yeah, so without further ado, here's our chat with Rafi.
My name is Raphaella Landestoy. I use she, her pronouns. I am a Afro-Latina from the Bay Area. To be exact, I'm Colombian and Dominican. I consider myself an energy worker and a bad bitch witch from the House of Hufflepuff. I love hiking and traveling and getting weird with those that I love. And I have a big heart and even bigger hair.
I don't know. You're not giving your heart enough credit.
Oh, thanks, babe. We're on a podcast. Don't be mad.
Gross.
Sorry, turn the flirt button off.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
HR.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Is
know.
that possible with you?
No. Yeah, we're a lot.
I know we talked about a little bit of how amazing you are at setting intentions. Did you want to set an intention for this episode?
The most important thing that I think of when I think of the things we're going to be talking about is when you look at like the scope of your life, and the energy of spring is really about like rejuvenating yourself. So wanting to remove the things that don't serve you so that you have room for the things that do, and that you can become your fullest, most authentic self in the process.
Love that.
What was your aha moment that sparked this personal wellness journey for you?
For me, it started honestly with my spiritual awakening, which happened a couple of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And prior to that, I feel like I was living my life for others more than I was living for myself. And I never really took the time to give myself introspection and really like analyze what kind of life I wanted to create for myself. And so my spiritual journey really like focused me in like setting an intention for what kind of life I wanted and what kind of things I wanted to put more focus on. And with time, I've learned different like practices and rituals and techniques that have helped me kind of connect myself to Mother Earth and like set my life around the seasons and the energies and different cycles of the moon and all those things that naturally affect us, but not necessarily is things that people put to the forefront of their mind all the time. But I found, at least for myself, that it's brought me a lot of peace, inner peace, to kind of see myself in the grander scope of life of like, yes, there's me and there's my life, but there's also all these different things that I'm connected to. And if I allow that to be a part of my everyday life, it can bring me a lot of purpose. So yeah, my spiritual awakening definitely like led me down this path, and I'm really glad that I did because it's brought me a lot of beautiful things like my partner and really great friends and just some pretty great
That's
stuff.
awesome.
What led you to your spiritual awakening? Like what actually like started taking you down to that path?
Well, I was thinking about it actually yesterday, and I feel like it was something that I almost like was training for. Training sounds weird, but like kind of training for my whole life, because I've always been someone that was really into like fantasy novels. Like I was never that person that could read books that were like informational. I needed like a story to really be in like capsulated by a book. And a lot of these like children's fantasy novels, if you really like look at what they talk about, they're very spiritual usually. And they speak on like the blueprint of the universe, and but they make it into this really like cool storyline for a child to understand. Like one of my favorite books is A Wrinkle in Time, and it's all about like time travel and meeting different like species from around different planets and stuff. And so I feel like it made me see the universe differently than some people don't necessarily see it that way, but I saw the world in a very specific like way. And then as I got older, there was just like this moment where I realized like all the stuff that I loved about like Harry Potter, like potions and rituals and witchcraft, like these are things that people can actually incorporate into their life. Like it's not just like for novels. And then when I figured that out, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this is great. So then it started really like innocently with like, oh, I'm going to make a spell for like, I had like a tattoo artist in Portland that I was really wanting to get a tattoo from. So I was like, I'm going to do a spell for them to be able to like get a booking. And spell worked for like, oh, I want to make sure I get this job. And then, with time it got a little deeper and I started to connect to energies of like my ancestry and like the concept of ancestral veneration, which is honoring those that came before you and creating a space in your home to honor them. So I have an altar, we have an altar that we go to regularly and spend time with our ancestors and give them offerings and talk to them or get advice. And that was really eye-opening for me to start to realize like the person that I am is because of these people, and starts to give me a sense of gratitude and grounding. And so I've incorporated a lot of that into like who I am now. But yeah, it all started with books like Harry Potter and A Wrinkle in Time. I nerded out, and then I became an energy healer is the base of it all. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Magic is cool, and then to realize magic is real is even cooler.
It's pretty great. Yeah, it makes life a lot more interesting, I have to say.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. I am always questioning altars, like I always think about. So I made one years ago, but I was like, okay, like I want an altar. Everybody has altars. I don't know what to do, and I always question, what should I put on my altar? What means the most, or like yada yada yada. I want to know what's on your altar.
So the one we have now, it's mostly full of pictures of family members that have passed, and incense and different foods that the people that we have on the altar may have liked during their life. And we also like to kind of give communion in the sense that like when we make food, sometimes we'll give them food as a way of like, honoring and like bringing them into our daily life, instead of it just being like, oh, this person passed and they're no longer here with us, because we believe that they are. So giving that, we have different like mementos that remind us of them, or things that, kind of represent both the afterlife and this life. Like we have this little like skeleton doing a yoga pose, which I just think is really cute. And it, I put it there because I'm like, okay, well, you guys aren't in this life, but you're also bringing a lot of like peace to us, and we hope that we're doing the same. So it's like a little, representation of that. We have a little Mexican skull that's also kind of very typical for the Mexican tradition, to have like little skulls on the altar.
The little sugar skull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The idea of like the food and like tobacco or alcohol is that it's believed that the altar becomes almost like a portal for those people who have passed. So whatever we put on the table, like they can actually enjoy it, because like they say that after you pass, like you can't taste food, you can't taste alcohol, like you can't like have like the spoils of being human. So by putting stuff on the altar, it's like you're giving them that moment to be able to try things and to taste them and to enjoy like the spoils of humanity, because it becomes a portal to them.
Nice. So you have your altars and you gotta dust them and like make sure everybody's clean for spring.
That definitely ties into spring cleaning for sure. If you have an altar, you don't want it to get like gunky. Like if you have water out, don't let flies get stuck in there for too long. Like you want to keep their house clean.
Yeah, you don't want to feed them moldy
clean
food.
houses.
Yeah, no moldy food.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and speaking of like rituals and like ancestral veneration and stuff like that, did you want to say a little bit more on like the spring seasons and rejuvenating energy like around the world?
I am also a spring baby, and so spring is a very like impactful season for me, and I always find it to be a really like rejuvenate. I know we've said that word a lot, but I think it really encapsulates what spring is. It's a rejuvenating time. It's like spend all these months in winter, especially this specific winter, at least in the Bay Area, it was rough. It was intense, and a lot of us spent a lot of time at home because there was a lot of rain and thunder, and so COVID, and I feel like people have become more accustomed to spending time alone, or at least in their own spaces. And so winter is kind of more of a time of introspection and a time of like almost like hibernating in the way that animals do. And so with that, things accumulate, energy accumulates, things in your home might accumulate, dust, clutter. And so with spring, you see it when you walk outside, like all these trees that were not lifeless, but like leafless for so long, or like the grass is gone is now growing, and you hear the birds and you see the flowers, and it kind of like sets that energy in your mind of like, okay, well, this is the time to kind of shake the cobwebs up a little bit in your life. And so spring for me is a time of replenishing and rejuvenating energy for sure. And that's seen around the world. There's a lot of spring traditions that bring that into like the different cultures. And so I wanted to like speak on a couple of them because I thought that they tied really well into like the things that we're talking about. We have the tradition of Holi, which is an Indian tradition that celebrates the energy of love in spring. And it basically ties in the colors of spring that you see around the world into like powders. And then I don't know if you've ever celebrated it. It's a really fun holiday.
I've never celebrated it, but I've seen it and it looks super
It's
fun.
so fun. Yeah, it's very happy. Yeah. So it's, using the powders, these colored powders that you throw into the air, and kind of a representation of that energy of spring and rejuvenation, and bringing in the power of love back into your life. Another one is a Iranian holiday called Nowruz. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think it's Nowruz. And it's a New Year celebration that starts a couple weeks prior to the equinox. And it starts with cleaning your home and getting rid of clutter and getting rid of dust, and really just starting the year off with a healthy and clean space. And it said that like in Iran, you'll see a lot of like around this time in this holiday, you'll see people with like rugs hanging outside of their homes. And, it's a very like typical thing to see the people like dusting and like hitting the rugs and getting rid of the dust that accumulates on the rugs. And that is also like a representation of wanting to remove that energy from your home. And then I also have the Wiccan holiday of Ostara, which I hope I'm saying right too, which is when Wiccans will go to Stonehenge. They'll make a pilgrimage to Stonehenge and gather and greet the rising sun together of the equinox, and kind of bring in the season of spring.
Is that still an active one?
Yeah, from what I can tell.
Dang.
Right?
Cool.
I know. I'm like, I might want to do that one day.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I just kind of put two and two together right here. But Aries is the first sign of the astrological calendar. Is that right?
It actually is. You're correct.
Okay, cool. So if you think about this, then it's fire, right? And if we think about forests, like rejuvenating the soil is fire. So the beginning of the astral year is a fire for rebirth, right?
I love that. Okay, Corey. Yeah, that's a great point. I love that. Yeah, I was even planning on speaking on some like rituals later that have to do around fire. So I think that's perfect.
Yeah, like it's no longer like a thing to keep warm. It's like a thing to like spread a little, like even whenever you're moving, like the warmer weather, it's like a cleansing fire.
Yeah, I love that.
Cute.
Yeah, farmers do that. Like they like burn like part of some of their land to like put nutrients back into the soil after like they've like done their crop.
Yeah. I think it's the carbons from the fire, from the ashes of everything. It like helps revitalize that. Yeah. Burning some energy astrologically.
Ooh, love that for us.
Ooh. I don't even know if that makes sense.
It made all the sense. It made all the sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta burn some stuff down to like reignite something new, as hard as that might be.
We should have you share some of your different techniques that you use to not burn stuff down in the house, but
I mean, if that's your thing.
Yeah, like getting rid of that.
I'm a bit of a pyro, so I like to burn shit.
Right. So when you come over, no lighters.
Yeah. Check your lighters at the door. I pull out like 13 of them.
I'm here, bitches. birds of shit.
Yeah, a flask full of gasoline.
Oh my God.
Whoops.
But yeah, just like talking about like techniques that you use. I mean, we could both talk about ones that we use to clear that energy, to revitalize the energy in our spaces, in our lives, in our own selves.
Yeah, I think the idea of having those three aspects being the things that you really want to recharge in your life. So that being your mind, your body, and your physical space, so your home. And actually in our first episode, if you guys remember, with Madison Ecker, the creator of the Some of Us Fest, she talked a little bit about that, of like the importance of having your three homes, your mind, your body, and physical space be a happy one or a safe one. And so, I feel like this episode is kind of tying into that idea of wanting to create a good space for all of those three things. So, a example of kind of a way to envision what it is we're talking about in a thing that's actually scientifically proven, which is a doctor that you guys actually talked about on one of the last episodes, which is Dr. Masaru Emoto. I hope I'm saying that right. It's a Japanese scientist who studied water and the effects of different frequencies and energy and how it affects water. So saying different like affirmations to the water, showing pictures to the water, music to the water, and whether that be a positive one or a negative one, and how that would physically affect the water itself. And they would take microscopic photographs of the water, and you can see very clearly the difference in how that water looks when you give it a positive energy or positive affirmation versus a negative one. And so I like to think of it as us being like the water, or like you said, we before, of like us being like a plant, in the sense that like you have to take care of who you are in your physical space so that your mind and your body feel better and go along with that. And so some of the techniques that we'll be talking about are ways that you can create that for yourself and in your life. So one of the first ones that is, I don't want to say basic, but a very like simple way to begin the process is what you guys kind of talked about, of like decluttering your home. And you can do that in various ways, right? You can, like you guys said, take out all your clothes, throw them on the bed, figure out what you don't want, and go from there. You can also move things around in your home. Like if you have spaces that you feel like, okay, you can like re-put like your bed or your couch and move it around. Move the energy in your space.
I Googled some tips for cleaning up. I went to the Martha Stewart checklist for spring cleaning.
Oh, yes.
It was a lot. It was like clean your floorboards, like clean your carpets, wash your window seals or your screens, your window screens. And I'm like, damn, this is inside and outside. Yeah. It was a lot. We like, sometimes we think that decluttering is the same as cleaning, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Decluttering is just getting rid of some things, but cleaning is like activating those dust particles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's kind of like the next step, right? Like after you move through your home and find the things like, okay, this is no longer serving me, it's not bringing me happiness, or like you said, it's a part of like an old part of myself that maybe I don't want to bring into the season. And starting off that way, and then like you said, like getting into a more deeper cleaning of disinfecting, dusting, finding those corners in your home that are full of things that you no longer need, or like dust that's been accumulating behind stuff that has been there for way too long. Kind of just recharging your home so that you can create a more calm environment for yourself and your mind. And, it sounds simple, but it does a lot. Like even for us, like you said, we did a big cleaning a couple of days ago. And, honestly, it feels like a whole new apartment. And it's like being able to get rid of that checklist of things that are kind of in the back of your mind. Like, oh, I need to reorganize this. Once you finally do it, like it really opens up space for you and yourself to focus on maybe things that you've been putting to the back burner because you've been going through just like the daily grind of like taking care of things that, you know, maybe aren't necessarily focused on your future and who you want to become. And so these are kind of ways to set yourself up for a more authentic lifestyle for yourself.
Yeah, like the Marie Kondo thing, that keep the things that bring you joy.
Exactly.
It is a lot of work for one person, though. Like, I know that in my house, like, cleaning everything out is just like,
Yeah,
so much work.
I know.
It's
There's people that will do it for you.
That's true. There's companies that'll do it for you.
What?
Yeah, there's places you can hire.
That'll get rid of my shit?
Yeah. There's like professional
But what if I
organizers.
like it? Then they'd have to stand there and be like, you want this or you want this? I'll be like, trash, I want that. Find a good spot for it. Like that? Or like, just like I pile shit up and they just take it all out?
I mean, I think there's like both. Yeah, there's professional organizers and then there's people that will just come and clean your home. But like, imagine how nice it would be for you to just be like chilling on your couch watching someone like do all this work for you and you're just like, yes, no.
Right.
I mean,
imagine they tried on all your clothes too. You're like, what does this shirt look like on me? And then they just like dress you.
Yeah. Yes. Like gold. Literal gold.
Right? You just stand there like a little paper doll and then they just put the clothes on you and you're like, I don't like it. And then it goes away.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that.
That'd be nice.
I know. Big idea.
Right.
Check.
Yeah, I want that service.
Yeah, same. But yeah, I would also say with doing all of that of like decluttering your home and deep cleaning, an important one that might not be necessarily obvious, but like wanting to open up your windows and your doors while you're doing this, so all that like stuck dust energy can be removed, and like making sure that it doesn't come back, because the whole point is like wanting to recharge your space. So you don't want that like recharge of like, oh, I'm cleaning and I'm dusting, but then it's all just in the air and then it settles back down again. You know, like really, yeah, wanting to set the intention of like, okay, this is something I want out of my space so that it's gone.
Gunky energy that you've brought home from the club that it's just hanging out in your place, or that you went to the liquor store and it followed you home. Like if you're cleaning, when you're actively cleaning and you're like, all right, everyone, if you're not here to better me, it's time for you to go. You can't hang out here no more. So they need somewhere to go. They need somewhere to exit. So you're like, all exits are here, here, and here. Pointing to like open windows and open doors.
Yeah.
100%.
And actually, I didn't think about that, but now that you mention it, like I think about whenever it gets warmer out and I open up the windows, it feels so much better. Not like physically, like temperature, but just like energetically, like the weight of things is so much lighter when the windows and doors are open, right? So it's like, ooh, yeah, it really is like removing things like physical and energetic.
Yeah. Your
out the doors.
Yeah, a lot of people use sage, but like just your words work. Like your words, like going into every room and just like, all right, get out. Like if you're not here with love, like it's time to get out. Like a lot of people buy sage, but actually I don't know like how in touch with your indigenous roots that you are, but you're actually not supposed to buy sage. It's supposed to be either gifted to you or you go and get it from nature. You're not supposed to buy it. And so a lot of like white sage is now becoming like extinct because all of these like major corporations are selling it.
White sage is actually indigenous to Northern California, so it grows really well here. So if you want to plant any, it'll take off.
Yeah, that's something that we've been wanting to incorporate. But yeah, so energy cleansing your space is kind of like the next step, right? Of what we're talking about now, which is we have different techniques of like energy cleansing your space. And at the end of it, like these are all tips that we're giving, but finding a way to incorporate it in a way that feels authentic to yourself is the best way. Like I've found like how with these talking about sage, in my spiritual practice, it was pretty clear to me that sage wasn't something that I was going to be allowed to use because it wasn't part of my indigenous background. And so for me, I found that the incense of dragon's blood is something that I really enjoy. It's a really like, I don't know, it's a strong smell, but a really like sweet and like nice cleansing smell that I feel like it really just kind of like that sense of fire, like it just burns all the shit that you don't want out of your space out and just like really sets this like nice calming mood. But yeah, there's different incense that you can use. There's frankincense and myrrh, dragon's blood. These are all really
Yeah, yours sounds badass. You're like dragon's blood. That's my
right.
scent, and I'm like, mine's happy hour. I really have one called Happy Hour. It smells really good.
Yeah.
But you're like dragon's blood.
I know.
I'm like, ooh.
It fits me for sure. I love all the like fiery dragony stuff. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. I'm for it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, there's different types. Like you said, like
your Harry Potter
yes.
mind.
Yes. My Harry Potter mind is just very excited by the thought of dragon's blood. I love it. There's so many different incense that you can find, and you know, they all have like their own specific qualities and properties that can like help cleanse your space. Like a lot of people like lavender because it's a very like calming, soothing smell. But there's also the idea of using water to cleanse your space, which is something that I've really enjoyed using. So what I do is I create a essential oil steam. So I'll get a pot of water and I'll add different essential oils to it. So things like peppermint oil or lavender oil. I really like orange blossom water or rose water, which is something that you can buy like at most grocery stores. They have it at Whole Foods. This cute little like glass bottle that I think they have in like the I want to say like the cleaning aisle is usually where you can find it, but it's a really nice clean smell that like for me it really captures the idea of spring. Like rose water and orange blossom water, these are like flowers that you're going to see when you go on your walks outside, and so bringing that smell into your home, like it does wonders for like really resetting the space. So I'll put those into the water and then boil it and then use that steam and walk around the apartment and like let that steam fill the air and like really like cleanse the energy of the space. And that's a really like fun, easy way to like recharge your space, I think. Another one is if you have like an oil diffuser in your home, you can use that. Like put, you know, different oils that you like, different smells. You can even put like the rose water or orange blossom water in there. I like to do that a lot too. And it's a really like quick and easy way to like set the tone for your space too.
My nerdy background is the reason why these aromas have effects on you is because of the terpenes inside of them. So like roses have a lot of geraniol, and so you can actually kind of reverse engineer it and figure out what effects you would like from your aromas. So if you need something that's going to be a little more wake me up and like focus, you could do like limonene or alpha pinene. Or if you need something that's a little more calming, myrcene, linalool, other like calming ones. So you could kind of reverse engineer that to figure out your effects.
Ooh, I love that. So are those like different things that you would find in these different oils or like florals?
Most companies will just give you the like rose or something, but you can find companies out there. I used to work for one that you can buy like straight isolated terpenes. So if you wanted just pure alpha pinene, you can get alpha pinene that's derived from like pine tree or like plants, foods. And so you can get like the individual isolated compound of that. Wow. Versus like Egyptian cotton, which is like a blend of different things, or like dragon's blood would be like a blend of different.
That's so cool.
Anyway, that's just a side note.
I mean, I love that. We're here for the nerd moment. I love all these like scientific ideas to what we're talking about, because energy work at the end of the day, it's still like a very taboo and woo-woo subject for a lot of people. So trying to find a way to like make it understandable in a way that's scientific, I think it makes it easier for people to feel comfortable with incorporating it into their life. Like
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't have to necessarily be a spiritual thing. It could be purely a scientific, you know, energy thing of like, okay, well, I want to feel better, so let me use these ingredients that I know have been scientifically proven to make you feel better and use it. And, you know, I think that's great. You know, it's
Yeah.
easy for anyone to be able to understand that, I think.
It's crazy how often science actually like corroborates the tradition, like why people use certain medicines or plants or this or that. It's like science figure, like we've come to find out that those are because of these compounds and these things. And it's like, oh, crazy that it was known without being studied, but it was studied in a different way
Yeah.
and understood without the same tools we have now. So yeah, I think you're right. I was just being nerdy, but it's valid.
Yeah.
It helps bring like that sense of validation to
Yeah.
the practice.
100%.
Yeah.
Love that. We also love to use music. I think music is a really powerful way to change, you know, the energy of a space. You know, find music that resonates with you, that makes you feel good, that gives you that feeling of recharge and rejuvenation, and let it play in your home. You know, you don't have to dance or anything, just let it play and like see how much better you might feel afterwards and how much better the space feels.
Yeah, for me, when it comes to music, sometimes I'll play like music that I know, like my tias and tios, or like my cousins that have passed away, like that they used to jam on. I'll put that on for them, so it like pumps them up, and then I just like imagine them like club bouncers, just like kicking out whatever like is in the apartment that doesn't need to be in here.
Yeah.
Well, so they're just like, all right, you gotta go. You ain't invited to this party.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah. It's a nice way to bring them
I'm
into
gonna be
it.
that spirit that's like crashing all the parties. I'm gonna be like, oh, what? No, I got invited.
I know the owner. It's fine.
Like, yeah, I know the owner. It's fine. I have an RSVP somewhere here. I have the invite.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
That's gonna be me when I'm a spirit.
Yeah. And we'll know it's you.
Oh yeah. Like, here goes Corey again. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about like cleansing the house and, you know, cleansing, getting haircuts and stuff, but I think we should dive into the more mindful practices and share a little bit more if you have any tips and advice on the mental cleansing type stuff, mindful practices.
The ones that I have kind of tie into both your physical body and your mental body in a way, but they're just little easy practices that you can use to set a certain intention for yourself and help to remove, like we said, removing things that no longer serve you, right? So that can not only be in your space, but also in your mind and in your heart. And so taking in that like spring energy feeling into these practices, I think, is important. One of them is, again, using water, but having it be something that is used for your body. So setting an intention for something like your shower or your bath, right? So you can, again, bring in these different ingredients into something like your shower or your bath, like putting different essential oils that are rejuvenating into your bath is a great way to recharge your body. What I like to do too is with my showers, if I'm feeling like extra heavy or like stuck in my head a lot because I deal with anxiety, which is something we talked about, I like to set an intention for my shower. So I'll envision the water ridding my body of the things that don't serve me, that energy, that like heaviness, that anxiety, and I'll visualize it almost like gunk or like soot, you know, something that is yucky that you don't want to hold anymore, and like visualizing the water like melting it away and like sending it through the drain. And you'll be surprised like how amazing you'll feel after. And if it's something that you could start to do, whether it be like daily or weekly, it can do a lot for yourself and your mind And, it's important to, or at least I believe it's important to have these like mindful moments for yourself where you're not just stuck in like the grind of the everyday, but really spending a couple minutes of introspection and mindfulness can do a lot for your day, for your week, for your life, right? For mental, I think we're talking about having episodes specifically on things like meditation, and I won't go too deep into it, but, meditation is an incredible way to clear your mind and ground yourself in the present moment, and that can do a lot for your life and your heart, and, can set the tone for creating more authentic experiences for yourself because you're not so stuck on just existing or reacting to the things around you. You become a little bit more mindful. Journaling, it's an easy one to, maybe you wake up in the morning and you had a lot of intense dreams. You can write them down or set the intention for the day of like what kinds of things you want to bring into your day, and being more mindful or speaking on things like gratitude, writing down things that you're grateful for. Yeah, I know you love that one. That's a big one for us is gratitude. So, writing the things that you're grateful for, grateful for the breath in your lungs, grateful for this comfy bed that you got to sleep in, your friends, your family, your loved ones. One that I've learned to do in recent months, which came from my own ways of meditating, is I was really focused on gratitude being about the things in my life that I had. And I was told through meditation to focus more on the things about myself that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my sense of humor, for my tenacity, for my nerdiness, like all those things that you don't really take, or most people might not take the time to think about that they love about themselves. It can do a lot for your life, and it can recharge your day and a lot of things about yourself when you really start to think about the things you like about yourself. That was a big like mind blown moment when that came to me in meditation. I was like, wow, that's really a game changer, because focusing on material things or the things that you have, it only really goes so much, at least for me. But, focusing on the things that are always going to be there, which is you and the aspects of you that you enjoy, I think a little bit more important. So yeah, those two practices that I really like. And then I had more, I guess, witchy, I guess woo-woo, but I don't know. I feel like they're simple enough that I feel like anyone can do and feel like it's not too crazy to do. But I was thinking of like the idea of spring and like nature and the growth and the flowers and the trees, and wanting to find like a nice little ritual that people can do. And so one that I thought of is like, okay, writing down the things that you want to bring into your life in the spring season, whatever that might be, like healing or more creativity or finding a new career, whatever it might be, and writing those things down, and then getting a pot and a seed of something that you want to plant, and putting that paper in that pot and letting the seed grow and kind of be a representation of the growth that you want to create in those things that you wrote down. And it can be like a plant. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you planted specifically for that, but you can put it in like one of your pots at home with your plants and let it become a part of that plant's energy and its growth. And it can be a nice little way of creating a mindful moment for yourself to incorporate, growth and rejuvenation into your life. And then a way of releasing would be something like using fire, which I love. So writing down things that you want to release. So whatever that might be. Anxiety, stresses, like worrying about other people's opinions, things that you don't want to carry with you, and writing it down and burning it.
Carefully burning it.
Don't want it. Yes. Yeah. Don't like go like, oh yeah, let me just do it on the carpet. One afternoon I'm drinking coffee or tea. Like, no, make sure to put it in something safe where it won't burn anything in your apartment. You can do it outside. It doesn't necessarily have to be in your home. But it's a nice way of like physically seeing the representation of releasing the things that you don't want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the shower when I do after work, I like wash the night off.
I like to get high and shower.
Hell yeah.
And it just feels like,
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You feel each
Super
droplet.
relaxing.
yeah, it just feels like a super spiritual moment whenever you're high and you're just standing in there. It just feels so
Oh my
perfect.
God. I know, for sure. I love that.
Do you have any, like, anyone that you want to shout out or anything like that, that you've learned a lot of what you've picked up about?
Yeah, so I have a lot of different practitioners that I've been following for years, but specifically one of them that I watched a video from last week that was speaking on a lot of what we're talking about now and giving a lot of great examples and ideas for like different practices that you can incorporate into your life is Dana Newkirk. So she is what is she? She's a specific type of witch, and I always forget that. Hedge witch. She's a hedge witch, which is, I think she uses a lot of like natural herbs and like things of the earth that she incorporates in her life and does different rituals with. So her Instagram page is at weird underscore Dana, Dana. She is also part of the group of people that do a podcast called the Objects Pod, the Haunted Objects Pod, which is them talking about different haunted objects that they've collected in their home, and they speak on like the history of it. It's really cool. It's a really interesting podcast. And they also have a show called Hellier, which me and V are obsessed with. I won't get into it because it's a lot, but if you look it up, it's incredible. You should watch it. It's great. But yeah, she was one of my main sources for this episode, and also Shauna, or her Instagram is at Oshun's Light, OSHUNSLIGHT Light, and she's also a spiritual practitioner that has a lot of great examples and ideas for how you can do like really easy to do practices in like your life to help change and recharge the energy of your home.
And she gives a lot of great advice.
She does. She gives a lot of great advice, day-to-day advice.
I'm going to have to check them all out.
Yeah, they're great.
Well, thank you for coming on today. I know you were scared and worried about it, but it was fantastic having you and hearing all of your things.
Yeah, thanks. I was super nervous, but I mean, it's really just hanging out with the homies, so it wasn't that bad.
That's not too difficult.
No, it's not too bad. I see your beautiful faces every week, so I was like, okay, great. Just get to see it again. Now I just talk more. I'm mad at that.
That was wonderful information. I am going to put into practice some more spiritual stuff, or energetic spiritual cleansing for myself, because that's not something that I typically dive into, but I do notice a difference in my energy, so I should be more aware of it and be present in those moments and take the time to clean it out.
Oh, I love that.
Terpenoids, man.
Yeah. Glad. I hope it goes well.
Well, thank you for sharing all your tidbits.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening and creating a safe space like always.
Our pleasure.
Well, that was cute, having my partner, Raphaella, on here.
Yeah, lots of great advice, and it was really nice to hear some tips and tricks on getting started, like something as simple as opening windows, like those are all really good reminders to keep moving energy and keep the flow going.
Yeah. Speaking of, and I know that you like really enjoyed like the science behind like the spiritual practices and stuff. I actually, I'll share this Instagram post with y'all later. If anything, we'll have it on our Instagram about us having like electron batteries, like ionic batteries inside of us, that like there are natural electron donors that like recharge us, like simple as like putting your feet on the ground, like your bare feet on the ground, swimming in the ocean, or touching trees, like leaning up against a tree like wants to give you electrons. Like they call them like electron donors. An animal, like just hugging an animal, like they go outside, they recharge, and then they come in and they want to share it with you. So like hugging animals, hugging people, and or like eating antioxidants have like those electrons that just like charge you up, because there's always constantly things in the world trying to drain us. So we need to like put more of these little things into our practices daily, weekly, monthly, however often you need to recharge. And these things are free. These things are easy to do.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, my therapist always tells me to sit somewhere with a view and like lean up on a tree and ask the tree to like release your energy into it, and it'll take it from you, and it'll like seep it in, and like then you like give it back like love and gratitude. And like the oxytocins that get released, huh?
I was like, I want your
my therapist. They're the best. Yeah, the oxytocins that are released through our bodies when we do things like that, and we realize the unity between everything around us. Like it is all aspects of ourself.
That's interesting that you say that, because our producer Leah, I told her the same thing years ago, of like putting her bare feet on the ground and thinking of like Mother Earth like sucking out all the bad shit through her feet into the ground and like recycling it, and then like recharging her with like goodness, and we're like filling her back up.
Absolutely. One time, Christmas time, I usually go and hike, and I did like 8 grams of mushrooms then, but I ended up running around barefoot in the mud. And it was super healing. Like I just squishing my toes. There was like this little hill, and I would just like slide down it with my feet, and like just feeling earth between your toes is sometimes it feels a little childish. I guess often it could feel a little childish to squish things in your toes, but like if it's earth and muddy and it's just it's so
I did
good.
that in Hawaii.
So go out there and touch some stuff.
Yeah, the mud kept like sucking my shoes off my feet. So I was like, forget it. I took my shoes off and my socks, and it was just like barefoot hike in the mud in Hawaii. It was, yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. It's like that for your whole body. It's relaxing.
Definitely.
I was just gonna say too, like digging in soil with your hands and planting things is really good, because the microbacterias in them and like all the thingies that you get in your body, it helps with your immunity.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm totally a gardener. I just gardened some basil and some mint the other day.
There you go. And soon white sage.
Hell yeah. I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked.
Thank you all for listening to our spring cleaning episode.
And hope this episode helps you feel a little less stuck if you're there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And our next episode will even help even further with that. We're actually going to be celebrating the World Meditation Day with Afosu Jones Cordy. He's a meditation coach, music artist, and a co-host of the Well Balanced podcast.
Thank you, listeners. If you like what you hear, please share it with a friend. It helps get us out there and helps spread the good word.
Tap that follow or subscribe button to get every episode as soon as it's released. Leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And join our wellness community on Instagram at Quest Wellness Pod. This podcast was produced in collaboration by Kinoko Chocolates and Puka Puka Creative. Executive producers Stevie Kwa and Corey Houston. Producer, editor, sound designer Leah Jackson. Associate producer Raphaella Landestoy. Original music produced by Basque. His music is amazing. And we can't forget about the emotional support of our fur babies by Frankie, Ruby, Nugget, and Pukalani.
We will share some of the benefits of spring cleaning, like getting rid of clust and dutter.
Yes.
That was epic.
Corey, you need to spring clean your mind. It's cluttered.
We hope this podcast brings you joy, where you'll learn, love, live, laugh, and love, and heal and grow. Sorry, I can't.